Tyler Posey's movie got canceled. And evidently it was a little bit shady because he already had a flat rented, like an apartment rented, and that whole shebang. Got up there. Rude. And got up there and was there for 2 days, and they were like, you can go home now. I said, that is... He just said, oh, my sun and stars. Wow. I
want to hear John make that work.
You know what the sad thing is? I'm not even glad that it canceled for Posey. I feel bad for him. You know, it's like, okay, you were counting on this, and, you know, it looked like a legitimate movie. I am so happy that it didn't happen because of his stands. Because they've already started the whole, your boy's unemployed. And I'm like, you don't know how movies work. You know, and I'm like, technically, until he gets to Toronto, Posey's unemployed, quote unquote. It makes no sense. But they were counting on this movie, and they're like, oh, he's gonna be like Cat Graham, and da-da-da-da. Because this Truth or Dare movie looks legit terrible, and everybody knows it. And so it's like, well, okie dokie.
I just think it's ridiculous to consider Dylan employed for at least a year after all of this Maze Runner stuff is, like, put to bed.
Exactly.
Like, if we don't get any news of anything in a year, okay, you can start with a little shade. But, like, until then, boy deserves a break.
Yeah, basically. He deserves a break.
Dylan's been on for, like, 10 years.
Well, it's not like he's like 4 years in between a movie. You know, Dylan is never... He worked consistently every single year of Teen Wolf. He was working on some sort of film project, which, you know, is what it is. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it
the one that I'm kind of like, ugh.
Huh?
Hecklin's the one I'm a little on.
No,
because it's all these little weird small projects that look like they're going nowhere, and it's like, what are you even doing?
We've talked about this before, where my theory is that Hecklin works a couple months out of the year, tops half, parties for the rest of it. He gets enough money so he can put some in the bank. He has some to go on vacation. It's a job. That's it.
And the problem, though, is I don't know that he has the personality. He doesn't have the temperament to be a real self-sustaining celebrity. Do you know what I mean? He needs to, if he's going to do that, he has to brand himself as that. And he's already kind of branded himself as being anti-social media. So I'm like, if you don't want to be on the big screen, if you don't want to take these roles, but you won't put yourself out there for public consumption, but you want people to use you as a sponsor, as a spokesman, or take these bit parts, then it doesn't work. You can't have it both ways, which is why I think he dated this model. But the problem is that it seems like they don't quite know how to do it. Because if you're like, I'm against social media, but I'm going to date a model, an Instagram model whose entire life is social media, the connection would be, she's going to be my social media for me. The problem is she's not doing that well. And so you're just like, what's happening here? What are you doing? And we get into the argument that we always have, or not argument, but the conversation we always have about Hecklin is, what do you want? You know, and where are you going? And do you care? I think he just wants to be a house husband and raise some kids. And I think he'd be fantastic at it. I just think that he's scared to do that for whatever reason.
I'm up for that.
I know.
I mean, just keep the body on top form.
Exactly.
Get a couple pictures here and there. Do a little editorial spread for those, like, weird Bellow magazines or whatever. I'm good with Hecklin.
Basically, I could see him doing that. Do we lose Ethan again?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. So yeah, he's in Australia now, and I can't deal. She's just so. That's why I said, are they so bad at it that they're secretly good at it? You know, is it one of those things where they're so terrible at it that somehow they end up being good at it? Oh my God, is that your pups? She said, "Don't be talking about my boo." Sorry, Phillip.
I can hear him in your background.
Exactly. All right, let's get this party started. So someone was like, all these allegations about James Dashner came out, and now people
what are they?
Huh?
What are the allegations?
Oh, that he's a creepster. Lots of sexual harassment. Lots
Wait, who,
of
what, where?
James Dashner. He's the one who wrote, the Maze Runner, soon to be quadrilogy with a trilogy with a prequel. But I posted a few of the comments, and one girl was like, "I know James Dashner. I've known him before he got famous, and yeah, I believe every single allegation." I was like, "Dang, girl."
Dang.
But he's always given me that creepster vibe, and it's very much the same way the Louis C.K. thing, where it's like they kind of have fit into this role of, I'm just this every guy, and I'm not blessed with looks, but now I have a little bit of a come up, and you should notice me. And, and you're going to notice me by kind of like any means necessary. And so, I don't know. I do not underestimate him being gross in any way. But, of course, some people started to speculate about Wes. People are like, why are they speculating about Wes? I'm like, because they're colleagues, and he's a man. And Wes is very socially ignorant sometimes. He's very much spectrum-y. So, I don't think Wes is necessarily capable of sexual harassment. I think he's more calculating than he is cold. I think he kind of forgets about the humanity of people, but I think he's about numbers and like, how can I get this budget done? And like very, very focused. I don't see him as being a molester, but you never know. Ariette, she sent in an ask, and she was like, Steric as a ship really can't be racist. Just two white guys. Just because you have two white guys doesn't mean it's racist. And I said, I replied to her, and I said, it's funny because it's something that we take for granted that, I got on Fandom Hates Pac for creating their own Bechdel test to determine whether something was whitewashing. And then you have Prince Aeschylus Words, who made up his own fandom interaction so that he could be like, oh, Sterics are always saying XYZ, and then completely making up XYZ. And now we have this thing where it's like, they have this narrative that Steric is racist, but I'm like, it's only racist because you have included and then excluded Tyler Posey from a ship that never involved him in the first place. And we've allowed that to happen. And I'm like, Steric on its own isn't racist. The second you bring Tyler Posey into it, it's not about Steric anymore. So why are we having this argument? And it's just, someone else did a Greatest Showman AU, and they were really scared to post it because they were just like, I really just love this. I want to have my ship. And I was like, girl, post it. And so far, they haven't seen it. So that's good. But I said, if they do, let me know. Good times.
Oh, yeah, I reblogged that. I was like, I don't even like Circus AU, and that one isn't the best one I've seen.
It's really not.
But I was just like, reblog.
Well, when you have Benaya's, which was like stunning, and I was like, oh, God. But, bless your heart. Bless your heart, little Steric Nani. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Beacon Hills After Dark. Season 1, 2, rewatch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Burn, 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 burn. Everyone's very excited. I, of course, am StickyKeys. Yeah, to my right, giving the wind 'em up guns is Ethan. Say hi, Ethan.
I had my first day of my new job work
Yay.
Today. It was fantastic.
Yippee, I'm so excited.
Hello, everybody. I get to top off a great day with a shitty show.
Yay! But great company. Great company, which also includes our involuntarily permanent engineer, Phillip. Say hi, Phillip.
Hey, guys.
Yay! So glad to have you. I know you had a crazy day today, but we're going to make it even more crazy with this show. I feel like this is episode 3, Pack Mentality, directed by Russell McKay, written by Jeff Vlaming. I feel like that's Jeff's like a pen name. Like Jeff would have a secret pen name that would start with Jeff, and then have something vaguely like offensive as the last name. This came out June 13th, 2011. Wow, that was it. It does and it doesn't seem that long ago. You know, you're just like, holy crap. I think we're gonna start getting into some plot this go around. This is really where my memory starts to wear off. I remembered a lot of the first episode. I remembered about half of the second episode. And so I'm looking forward to this one. Previously on Teen Wolf.
I saw. I want to spend my freaking normal life. Medical examiner determines killer of girl to be animal, not human. Derek, not killer. Let out of jail. You did this to me! Fight is a gift. I don't want it. You will. What are they? Hunters.
It's my dad.
Everything in my life is somehow perfect. Why are you trying to ruin it? You're cursed, Sky.
Oh, that still gets me. Okay, so, last week, Scott was going through some things. He pushed Stiles around, and it was very sad. And then, he played in the game when he shouldn't have played in the game. And, what else happened? Jackson. Is that a thing? Oh, yeah, Jackson found the glove with the pinholes, and then Derek was there stalking on him. And it was all good
like
times.
Like a creeper.
Yep, like a creepster. We are 38 seconds into this file, and we will be pushing play in 3, 2, 1, and play.
These were some of the cutest scenes.
Yeah. And it's such a teenager thing to do. They're like, I'm going to go to a school bus to be alone. Because they literally have nowhere else to go. She's like, come and get it, stud. This is like day 3 of them knowing each other, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I forgot about this. So horny. While it's loading, those nails. Do you think that tear was CGI? In the back.
I don't know, but that hand did not look like his hand, did it?
Mm-mm.
Not really.
It was probably Jeff's.
Yeah.
They needed a gnarly hand, so they put Jeff in.
Gross. So, there was another room that was doing a showing of that was doing a showing of 50 Shades of Grey. And I think I came in right after Tyler Hoechlin's part. And I was trying to ask him if Tyler Hoechlin had already showed up or not.
Oh my god.
What'd they say?
They wouldn't answer me. They kept answering like everyone else. So we are going to press play in 3, 2, 1, and play.
Scott.
Get away from me.
I didn't realize he revealed himself to her this early. Or is this a dream?
Yeah, this is...
Give me that much detail about you and Betty. Noted. Let me take a guess here. No, I know. You think it has something to do with me going out with Allison tomorrow? Like I'm gonna lose control and rip her throat out? No, of course not. Yeah, that's totally it. Hey, come on. It's gonna be fine, alright? Personally, I think you're handling this pretty freaking amazingly. You know, it's not like there's a like hate to be for beginners class you can take. Yeah, not a class, but maybe a teacher. Who, Derek? You get a part where we got him tossed in jail? Yeah, I know.
And that part where he gives me a fear boner.
It felt so real. How real? It actually happened. I think it did. She's probably fine. She's not answering my text. Stiles, you know, it could just be a coincidence, right? Seriously amazing coincidence. Just help me find it, okay?
So much swirly cam.
Once my heart starts beating again, yeah.
What is she wearing?
Just happy to see you.
Attention students, this is your principal. I know you're all wondering about the incident that occurred last night to one of our buses. While the police work to determine what happened, classes will proceed as scheduled.
Same as lunch?
I love that little scene right there.
Oh, Mr. Harris.
Maybe it was my blood on the door. Could have been animal blood. You know, maybe you caught a
Didn't that actor go to like a couple cons?
Yeah.
No, he just didn't make it.
He was not very popular.
I really can't remember anything.
The little werewolf I'm in.
If that's your idea of a hushed whisper, you might want to pull the headphones out every once in a while. I think you and Mr. McCall would benefit from a little distance, yes?
No.
Let me know if separation anxiety gets to be too much.
Why if they both move? Hey, Harley.
Hey, I think I found something.
Oh, look, she got a speaking role.
He's not dead. Dead guys can't do that. Stiles. I did that.
The beginning of Scott McCall and his many leaps.
It wasn't a dream.
I did that, obviously.
Natch.
What makes you so sure that Derek even has all the answers? Because during the full moon, he wasn't changed. He was in total control. Well, I was running around in the middle of the night attacking some totally innocent guy. You don't know that. I don't not know it. I can't go out with Allison. I have to cancel. No, you're not canceling, okay? You can't just cancel your entire life. We'll figure it out.
Figure what out?
Just homework. Yeah. I don't know why she's saying this.
Stanny.
Get up. You never asked Danny to get up. Because I don't stare at his girlfriend's coin slot. So you're saying it's some type of animal attack? Probably a cougar? I heard mountain lion.
A cougar is a mountain lion.
Ooh.
Who cares? The guy's probably some homeless tweaker who's gonna die anyway. Actually, I just found out who it is. Check it out.
The sheriff's department won't speculate on details of the incident, but confirmed the victim, Garrison Myers, did survive the attack. Myers was taken to a local hospital.
Who has a news report with this fast of a turnaround?
I know this guy.
You do?
Yeah, when I used to...
Not back then.
Back when I lived with my dad. He was the driver.
Can we talk about something slightly more fun, please? Like, oh, where are we going tomorrow night? You said you and Scott were hanging out tomorrow night, right? We were thinking of what we were gonna do. Well, I am not sitting home again watching lacrosse videos, so if the four of us are hanging out, we are doing something fun.
Hanging out? Like the four of us? Do you want to hang out like us and them?
Yeah, I guess. Sounds fun.
You know what else sounds fun? Stabbing myself in the face with this fork.
How about bowling? You like to bowl?
Yeah, with actual competition.
How do you know we're not actual competition? We can bowl, right?
Sort of. Is it sort of? Or yes? Yes.
He's such a dick. I love it.
Fact. I'm a great bowler.
I pause it.
Terrible bowler. I know. Such an idiot. God, it was like...
Oh my god. Already. We get the introduction of Danny. Fun times. We get classroom drama.
That little werewolf oven line gets me every single time. I love it.
I forgot what the line is. Like, what was he even talking about?
He was talking about, like, oh, maybe you killed a rabbit. Oh, like, it wasn't, maybe that's where the blood was from. It wasn't from an actual person. And he's like, what did I do with it? He's like, what, I ate it? And he's like raw? And Stiles was like, no, you stopped and baked it in a little werewolf oven.
Stiles is funny. Oh, and then he said, because I don't stare at your girlfriend, at his girlfriend's what?
Coin slut.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh. I didn't even catch that. I just heard like cleaning something. I was like, what? Gross. Jeff Davis definitely wrote this under a pen name.
Dude, but like Jackson's lines, I love them. Like, it's probably just some homeless tweaker. Like, he's so apathetic to the entire world.
To everybody, such a misanthrope, and I love it.
Except him.
But he's so pretty, and he knows it. But he's so bitter about it. I'm kind of here for that. I like Scott just being like right in front of him, do you really want to hang out with them? Like Allison is gonna say no. I'm like, Scott, you need to put your foot down. Like, no, I'm not hanging out with my lady. And then Scott and his we also got the line where he said, when I stayed with my dad, he was the bus driver when I stayed with my dad. And
dude, I totally missed that.
Yep, and I was like, ha ha. I'm like, y'all don't know each other. And What else happened? He's still wearing that shirt. Stiles and his many layers of nonsense. I also love their school lunches. One girl had a plate of nothing but raw broccoli crowns. Stiles had like an orange and a piece of lettuce and a piece of bread.
Having been through America's public school systems, that sounds pretty accurate, actually.
No. Oh, no, because we had, like, you would either get the square pizza, or sometimes they would do, like, a salad bar, or you would get, like, the fake Salisbury steak.
The 60s were a different time, Sticky.
Oh, you know what? No
I'm
comment.
sorry, we had a full lunch all the time, and like every single day, and you didn't have a choice on what you got to pick out of. Like, you had two choices, but you had to get one of everything.
Right. Yeah, we had that too.
We had hot dogs that bounced higher the more you bounced them. We had mac and cheese that worked better as glue.
Oh, no.
And the pizza was definitely more cardboard than bread.
We did have a point where we had FBLA, and so each group got to kind of like start a business. And so one of our groups they sold Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, and they would bake them fresh in between periods. And then so between the periods you run, we get a little $1 to get some Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, and then like run to your class because you always be late. And then on certain days they sold pizza slices. And so that was like our respite from cafeteria food. It was like, oh my God, we get pizza! It's just like, it was awful. Absolutely awful. And we loved every minute. All right, we are at 9:37, and we're going to be pressing play in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, wait, hold on.
I'm watching a car wreck. I mean,
oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I tried to request it again, and then it was like maybe, and then it was like nah, son. So go ahead. 3, 2, 1, play.
first it turned into a whole group date thing, and then out of nowhere comes that phrase, hanging out. You don't hang out with hot girls, okay? It's like that. Once it's hanging out, you might as well be your gay best friend. You and Danny can start hanging out. How is this happening? I either killed a guy or I didn't. I don't think Danny likes me very much. Now we're hanging out.
Bye, Stiles, number 3.
Gay guys? I think first line and the team captain wants to destroy me, and now I'm gonna be late for work. Wait, Scott, you didn't. Am I attracted to gay guys? You didn't answer my question.
He's so concerned. I love it.
Sorry. You're all of 2 minutes late.
Don't want you to think I'm slacking.
Scott, I guarantee you, you're one of the least slacking kids in this town.
This is Dr. Carver when he was still Dr. Carver and not all-knowing Deedon. Look at Sheriff! He looks so young.
Hey, I see somebody's ready to get their stitches out.
Hey there, Scott. You staying out of trouble?
Hey, listen, while I'm here, you mind taking a look at those pictures I was telling you about? Sacramento still can't determine an animal.
I'm not exactly an expert. This is the guy who was attacked in the bus?
Yeah. And we found wolf hairs on Laura Hale's body.
A wolf? I mean, I think I read somewhere that wolves haven't been in California for like 60 years.
True enough, but wolves are highly migratory. They could have wandered in from another state driven by impulse or strong enough memory.
Wolves have memories?
Longer-term memories, yes. Associated with the primal drive. See this one here?
Yeah.
Those are claw marks. A wolf would have gone for the throat, spinal cord with its teeth.
So, what do you think? It's a mountain lion?
I don't know. A wolf could chase down its prey, hobbling it by tearing at the ankles. And then the throat.
I'm like, we need to talk, Dee.
Is my beautiful, talented, and wonderful son actually bringing me dinner?
Thought you wouldn't mind skipping the cafeteria tonight.
You
You are the most thoughtful, loving, most conniving little con artist ever. You were so not getting the car tomorrow night. What? There's a curfew, no car. But I will take this. Love you.
Aw.
Me too.
Melissa. His face is just like, ugh. It gets so blank. How extra Teen Wolf used to be.
That guy was acting for his life.
He really was. This was the black sheriff that we never saw again in the series, and we're like, he took his car and he left and moved upstate and was like, I ain't doing this with y'all. I ain't doing this with y'all. He's like, you can stay here if you want to, Deedon.
I got my transfer.
Right?
I don't think anyone's home.
For the love of God, 16, go inside and see if anyone's in there.
Copy that. Do that.
See? Come on, Sheriff's Department. Getting slobber all up on your window and seat. Dang. And we ain't never seen that dude again. Godspeed, the smartest man in Beacon Hills.
I can't believe they got away with making the dog do that.
Right, through the window especially.
I know you can hear me. I need your help.
So now you need his help.
Right. Why did they make him live there?
I know it's part of you getting arrested and that we basically...
They hated Derek Hale.
They really
I
did.
don't know what happened to your sister. But I think I did something last night. I had a dream about someone else got hurt. And it turns out that part of the dream might have actually happened.
You think you attacked the driver?
Did you see what I did last night?
No.
Can you at least tell me the truth? Am I gonna hurt someone?
Yes.
Kill someone?
Yes.
Yes,
Am I gonna
Derek!
kill someone?
Probably.
Because you're a dumbass.
Look. I can show you how to remember. I can show you how to control the shift, even on a full moon. But it's not going to come for free.
What do you want?
We'll find out. But for now, I'm going to give you what you want. Go back to the bus. Go inside. See it. Feel it. Let your senses, your sight, smell, touch, let them remember for you.
That's it, just go back.
Do you want to know what happened?
I just want to know if I hurt him.
No, you don't. You want to know if you'll hurt her.
We have to go back,
Ooh.
Jack.
You're a selfish little boy, Scott McCall.
Yeah, I do love that it all comes down to Allison always.
What needs to keep watch?
Oh, but we're crazy for thinking
There's
that.
only two of us. Okay, why is it starting to feel like you're Batman and I'm Robin? I don't want to be Robin all the time. Nobody's Batman and Robin any of the time. Not even some of the time? Just stay here. Oh my god.
I love that timing. This makes no sense how this works.
I mean, I guess the scent, the place, the same time of day.
Touching the windshield. Putting his fingerprints all over everything. Oh, he was asking for help.
I love how the incoming car does not hear or see this.
At all. Oh, jeez.
Did it work? Did you remember? Yeah, I was there last night. The blood. A lot of it was mine. So you did attack him? No. I saw glowing eyes on the bus. But they weren't mine. It was Derek. What about the driver? I think I was actually trying to protect him. Wait, what? Why would Derek help you remember that he attacked the driver? That's what I don't get. It's gotta be a pack thing. What do you mean? Like an initiation. You do the kill together. Because ripping someone's throat out is a real bonding experience? Yeah, but you didn't do it. Which means you're not a killer. And it also means that I can go out with Allison. I was gonna say it means you won't kill me. Oh yeah. That too.
Okay, pause. We get the beginning of the friggin' Allison, everything's about Allison. Which,
but also it's just the jumps in logic where you start with the he must have hurt. Like Scott jumps to the logic that he must have hurt the man, even though he doesn't remember seeing a man in his little dream.
Right.
And then he assumes that the wolf that killed Laura must be Derek because there was wolf hair left over. And then he assumes that Derek killed the driver because he saw a wolf with red eyes, but he's never seen Derek with red eyes.
And he wants so badly to go after... He always jumps... It's one thing to have these assumptions, but he jumps head first into the assumption. And so then he makes decisions based on them. But then it's like... Derek is his killer, and he's obviously this bad dude, so I need to go to him for help. And it's like, what are you talking about? What is this conflict that you're creating? It was really ridiculous.
And it goes back to what you were saying originally, that like he jumps to these conclusions because he's looking for any excuse to not have to avoid Allison, because I think he knows, even if Derek hasn't said it yet, that he kind of can't be around Allison right now.
Right. Pretty much. But he's like, oh, I guess I can control it. And it's like, no, you really can't. Still, and you're not going to be able to.
I do not get how he doesn't sense the alpha at the hospital. He's been there twice already.
Is the alpha at the hospital?
Well, Peter's technically at the hospital, isn't he? Or is it as the rehabilitation center separate from the hospital?
I thought it was a separate facility.
I thought it was the same one. Well, I guess we'll see.
Okay. We'll get to it. How about you, Ethan? What are you thinking?
What am I thinking of? What? Sorry.
Oh, just these last 2 minutes.
I don't know. Like, he's so willing to just, like, pin it all on Derek. It's just really, like... It's really interesting how the text itself doesn't like Derek, and therefore Scott doesn't like Derek.
Well, it's not... It puts Scott in a very weird position. Because... Oh, God. It puts Scott in a weird position because he becomes... So, okay, here's what I'll say. I'm sure that Derek Hale became a fan favorite pretty quickly. But I think a lot of it was due to his looks more than the backstory, because people didn't really know who he was. I think they got the impression right away that he wasn't just a run-of-the-mill villain, that he was in the opening credits, that he was going to be a character. Jackson is 100% villain. Tyler, Hecklin, Derek at this point has a secret, has something mysterious that we need to know about. So we're going to have an amount of getting invested in Derek. So knowing that as a viewer, you have Stiles, who is pretty dismissive, like, oh, just leave Derek alone and, we'll figure this out on our own. And then you have Scott, who is wholly dismissive, except when it comes to his own personal gain. And I started to, because I was trying to think of when did the tide turn for Scott and why. And I think a lot of the tide is turning is because they have him with this really negative kind of self-serving attitude towards Derek now. And later when Derek becomes wholly sympathetic, the fans didn't forget the way that Scott treated him before. And so then you're like, well, okay, so you forgave Scott, but you didn't forgive Stiles. But I'm like, I think Stiles' behavior towards Derek was never self-serving in the way that Scott's was. And I think that speaks a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Stiles' reaction to Derek is pretty normal. I mean, here's a complete stranger that's kind of weird, nothing about, and all that stuff like that. And so his characterization of it is fine. But Scott, I don't know if I would blame it completely on the writing, because he played it as doubting Derek. Like, he played it like, oh, Derek is this bad guy, but he didn't have to. He could have played it as this, like, I'm constantly doubting Derek, but he's the only source of information I have, and he didn't go there with it.
Right, exactly.
Like, he just really went one-dimensional with it. And I think as far as Derek, already we are, as a viewer, becoming enamored with him because of the dry sarcasm and the dry humor. Mm-hmm. Like, just that line, like, am I gonna kill anybody? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Like, it's exactly. That upfront, like, no bullshit stuff that Derek does.
And that's the kind of stuff that people really respond to. And I feel like you give your main character a disservice when you put a one-dimensional character up against someone who automatically is three-dimensional. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you have this kind of cardboard reaction. I don't like him, I don't like him, I don't like him. Oh, but I need him, but I need him, but I need him. It's this very kind of textbook thing. And I feel like Scott never quite gets past that textbook quality. Whereas Hecklin kind of really understood who Derek was from the beginning. Which is very interesting because I don't think that's how Derek was intended.
I will not get over Dylan's comedic timing and so playing off people who have no energy back at him, and he just keeps going with it.
He's great. He had, he was talking about how when he was auditioning, he went in and they were like, give it your all. And he was like, I gave like 110%. And they were like, okay, you gave us 110%. Now just give us 100%, bring it down a notch. And so he went back in and
just let him be 110.
Well, they brought him back in and he brought it down a notch. And then they were like, you know what? If anyone ever tells you to bring it down a notch, tell them F you. We want the whole thing. Just do it. There's an instantaneous charm, and he understands how to make his flaws relatable. Like when all of a sudden, Scott is going through this thing and he's like, oh, I think I may have hurt this guy. And then Stiles is like, am I attractive to gay guys? Just this very stream of consciousness thing where he's very much a self-absorbed teenager, but it works. And it works well for him. And it works in a way that's not disconcerting because at the end of the day, that's a side trip for Stiles. In the back of his mind, he's still thinking about Scott. He's still thinking about how to learn more about werewolves and how to protect. Whereas we don't necessarily get that side from Scott. Scott seems to be very A to A, B to B, C to C,
And what's so weird is I can see that in Stiles and see him doing that. Where it's like, is Danny finding me attractive or werewolf ovens or whatever. And it's it's so funny and you just keep on going with it. But when Scott does that with Allison and the team and the cross, for some reason, it's just this, and it's just the way Tyler plays it, I think. It's not endearing.
I think it's endearing on the surface. I think we get a lot of lovable doof. But lovable doof only takes you so far when you won't admit you're a lovable doof. They'll make allusions to it, but it kind of feels like he thinks, oh, there's an entitlement there. This is cute because you're supposed to find it cute. There's just something a little bit that ends up being a little bit off-putting about it. And just kind of the flatness. When he was in the hospital and he turned around, he was looking at the door. And there was just this flatness on his face. And it's we have to put in all of these emotions for you. And we have to, figure out what you're actually trying to convey by your scenery and not just by you. Whereas Dylan O'Brien could do the entire script with a camera panned on his face. And you would understand exactly what was happening in that scene, And so I'm but then conversely, you have Hecklin. So this is the other part where, me and Hecklin's voice and Hecklin's delivery drives me crazy. But the boy knows how to commandeer a room. He understands movement. He understands his body. Again, you could have a camera trained on his face and understand exactly what was happening. He knows how to give those little ticks so it's not just a flatness. And I feel that, when you kind of put them all three together, it's you end up having to give Scott a lot, whereas the other two kind of give it to you. Mm-hmm. So, very interesting. We are at, what time code are we at, Phillip?
2102.
Excellent. We will start in 3, 2, 1, and play.
Pass.
the beginning of a Lydia.
Pass. Let me see.
Is this the one where she hops on the bed with Mr. Argent?
Pass on all of it. God, Allison, so if your taste is, it doesn't wait a second. This.
Dad, hello.
Right. I'm sorry, I completely forgot to knock.
Work.
Dad, do you need
I wanted to tell you that you'd be staying.
I'm dead.
What? I'm going out with my friends tonight.
No, some animal out there is attacking people.
Dad, I'm
Tell my hands, there's a curfew, no one's allowed out past 9:30 p.m. Hey, no more arguing.
Someone's daddy's little girl.
She wanna be daddy's little girl.
I love her. Lydia is everything. Oh, I forgot about this. They never played up Allison and her gymnastics ever again.
What are you doing?
Never again. Ever.
Ever.
I completely forgot that.
That would
Also,
have been
Tokyo Police Club.
such a good thing. I remember thinking that was so cool when I first saw it. I was like, oh my god,
Like you know what
Allison.
you're doing.
used to both my dad. When was the last time you bowled?
At a birthday party. When I was 8.
Work. They're so cute.
Aw. You know, with like things like that, you could sell Colton a straight.
Oh, that's the exact same shot. That is hilarious. I just
Just
noticed that.
reversed or whatever, yeah.
They use the exact same shot. But I think Colton just has a fantastic chemistry with girls. He just like him and Emily Betts, exact same thing. Where people are like, oh, they're dating, and like, oh, he's obviously gay, but I see what they're saying, you know?
Yeah.
Look at him!
Oh my god.
Phillip, McCall.
Yes! Gideon were goals. God dang it.
I know, right?
Colton, his mascara.
Right down the gutter.
Mind turning up?
I'm sorry. I'm just flashing back to the words, I'm a great bowler.
Maybe you should needs a little warm up.
Yeah, maybe he just needs the kitty bumper.
Just aim for the middle.
How about you aim for anything except for the gutter?
Let him concentrate.
She was so into him.
Oh. Good job, McCall. Man, you are a pro.
Really just
Oh, I forgot about this too.
This scene was so bad. I was not happy.
It's so pointless.
It completely negates this whole the Argents could be good hunters crap line that we got
Right.
later.
We hunt those who hunt us. Dun dun dun. Me naked.
Think about me. Naked.
And then throw your ball at me. Oh, jeez. Werewolves must be great bowlers.
What did you say to him? I just gave him something to think about.
9 gallons of $25. It's like what, $3.50 a gallon? Messy.
Nice ride. Black cars, though. Very hard to keep clean. I would definitely suggest a little more maintenance.
I would slap him in the face. She touched my car.
Something that's nice. You want to take care of it, right? Personally, very protective of the things I love. That's something I learned from my family. You don't have much of that these days.
Oh, that's rude.
Do you?
So if he knew about, he had to have known about Kate.
Even if it is an accident, why would you say it like that, you know?
Right.
And I should look through your windshield now. See how that makes everything so much clearer?
Forgot to check the oil.
God, Derek,
Such
let it
a
go.
dick.
He wanted to get his oil changed by Papa Argent.
Hey. I would have been stand on the driver's side.
Drive safely.
So rude. And you know what? Ain't no safe light gonna come out in the middle of the night. And then the crazy thing is, like, that's the end of Derek. That's the last we see of him, isn't it?
That is seriously amazing.
No.
Jackson, how many strikes is it?
It's 6. In a row. My son just clicked, I guess.
Maybe it's natural talent. I gave you some natural talent. You might help me out this time, Scott?
Lydia, really?
Go for it.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Hey, I'll help.
But how about I just try this on my own?
Lydia is everything.
So everything.
Like, that throw didn't even make sense physics-wise. Where she, like, did the little thing at the beginning.
Perfect form.
What's it?
Maybe you should stop pretending to suck just for his benefit.
Trust me, I do plenty of sucking just for his benefit.
How did that line get through?
I no idea, but Derek is over the line.
Exactly.
I know we both didn't want to be here, but the thing is, we don't have to hate each other.
I don't hate you. I just don't believe you.
Oh.
You know, you got everyone thinking everything's fine and normal about you, but I know something's off. You cheated tonight.
How do you cheat in bowling?
I don't know. But you did. And I don't know if it's steroids or something weirder. I'm guessing something weirder since it's pretty obvious that you're a freak.
Yes,
Don't think for a second I've given up on finding out what your little secret is.
I don't have any secrets.
Yeah, you do. And here's the other thing. I don't know why, but I think whatever it is you're hiding You don't want her to find out about it either.
Go ahead and pause it. Oh, goodness. So another thing, I really always trying to nail down what happened? What was the turn from Scott McCall? And again, a large part of the issue is he has a lot of bullies in this show. A lot of things coming up against him, but in a way that's not entirely sympathetic, because he's putting himself in these situations. You know, it'd be one thing if, like, Scott was just minding his own business, but he's kind of, you know, like the popular girl, and then, you know, the lacrosse jock is like, you're cheating, you're making my life miserable. And it's like, he is, you know, and it's like, we know because he's a werewolf, but really, yeah, he came out of nowhere. He has all these crazy super abilities, and Jackson's crown is being threatened because of it. And so it's like, well, yeah, you know. And so he's also getting these advantages. The entire devotion of Allison for seemingly no reason. Like, at this point, you can't argue against soulmates AU. You know what I mean? Like, for her to still be giving him the time of day is just something that's pure plot contrivance. You're just like, this doesn't make any sense in real life, but it's cute to think about. And of course, Lydia remains the queen of everything, and I love it. And I can't believe I do a lot of sucking for his benefit. It's the line that happened.
Mm-hmm. But he's gay. Sorry, he's bi. Gay. What did they decide on?
They decided on
canonically
letting everybody else say it. No, he was gay, but then people are like, "What about Jidia?" So they're like, "Oh, never mind, he's bi." Because that's exactly what Jeff Davis and co. do.
Jesus Christ.
So ridiculous. So, yeah.
So, like, going back to what you were saying about, like, how it's unsympathetic, that he's, like, you know, Jackson's genuinely upset that he's cheating, and he is.
Uh-huh.
And, like, there's these other things going on that these characters are upset about. And it's, like, just being generic with supernatural kid shows, you always show this newly supernatural kid or character. You know, they come into their powers and they're so tempted to use their powers to, like, get popular and all that stuff like that, and somehow it blows up in their face.
Exactly.
And so then they have to learn how to kind of, like, control their power and play the game good, because playing fair is, you know, what's worth it. And, like, that's kind of like a little lesson that pretty much every supernatural show I've ever seen plays by. And the fact that this one didn't,
yeah,
I think has a lot to do with why some people don't like Scott.
But it didn't, but it wasn't aversive enough. This is what we talk about when we say that Scott doesn't get, his actions are always justified when he doesn't get consequences. These are the kind of things that we're talking about. We say, hey, Scott, don't play in the game. You're going to end up hurting someone. You're going to end up getting someone killed. Don't play in the game. Don't play in the game. He's like, I'm going to play in the game. No real altruistic reason. I'm doing it to impress a girl, you know, and he gets away with it and everything is fine. There's no consequence to that. Hey, Scott, you know, don't try out for lacrosse because you're going to be kind of like upending the structure. And as it keeps going on, you know, don't go out for don't go out after curfew, don't do this, don't do this. And he is being defiant, but he's being justified, but only by way of being a werewolf, only by way of being supernatural. And I think that's where the relatability loses, because real people can't do that. You know, like, real people can't just say, no, I'm going to do what I want, and then just get away with it scot-free. And the moment that they made him, that they made that such a viable part of his story, is when I think he started to lose touch. Were you gonna say, Phillip?
Yeah, it's like, and I feel like we can make little allowances for bad writing like that, just for little plot purposes and whatever, and funny situations, but it adds up over time, and that kind of uncomfortable feeling you get that where it happens each time and it's not addressed, then leads you to the end of season 2, where you're like, how do I forgive Scott for something actually bad?
Well, but again, because not acknowledged. Exactly.
Because you've been doing it since like the beginning of the show.
Exactly. And the show always has a knack of going too far and not really considering that there are consequences that aren't being played out. And then people are like, well, it's a fantasy show. It's a fantasy show about werewolves. Well, then apply that to everybody, or apply it to nobody, but don't just apply it to one person and give him the out of being a werewolf.
Mm-hmm. So, like, overall, like, I love the Lydia part. They were a really great duo. And honestly, they didn't use them enough.
Mm-hmm.
The Hey Daddy Argent from Lydia, it's hilarious. I can't believe it's in a teen show.
She is fantastic. And Holland is another one where she knew exactly what part her role was supposed to play. She's like, I'm the hot girl, I'm the queen bee, and yes, I'm a genius. I think that they did push the whole I'm a genius and I don't want anyone to know thing a little bit hard, but I like that they kind of turned that around quickly, and that we're starting to see her lose that and be like, you know what, I do what I want. I'm Lydia.
I mean, I totally laughed when Allison was telling Scott that she thought he was thinking too hard, because I think that's the only time we're ever going to actually hear that being said. The Argent's intimidating Derek, it's just bad. I mean, it's not just they surrounded him, front and back. How many hunters was that for one beta?
Well, that's kind of the other thing. Is there a point in season 1, 2 where those hunters disperse? Because we've never really seen Argent with hunters again. He's always so isolated and by himself. Where is the rest of their group? Maybe after Victoria killed herself?
No, because, I think we'll have to look into that, but, I think they're there, and then, Kate somehow takes them over when she captures Derek.
Okay.
And then I think they're guarding that complex where Derek is being held later, and that's where they go.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I just feel like, considering that Chris is supposed to be the embodiment of good Argent, this kind of behavior is, okay, and then you wonder why people have a bad perception of hunters, and then that dig about his family, it's if this was just an accident and not hunter justice, what the hell with that comment?
Exactly.
Ugh. And then they knew Derek hadn't done anything wrong. They were just using him to bait whoever the actual alpha was that killed Laura.
See, and we're not to that part. So I was wondering, what their connection to Derek was. I think it was just a matter of him being a Hale, and somehow they knew he was back. But we're going to see if that ever comes together in a satisfying way. I'm guessing no. But we'll see.
And seriously, Colton playing Jackson
so
blackmailing people is the best thing ever. He is so good at it.
He's so good. Again, another person that completely understands his character and plays it to the hilt. It's fantastic. All right, we're at 31:55. We're going to play in 3, 2, 1, and play.
Open your eyes.
Yes, Derek.
Look at me.
Sometimes his acting is so Dante's Cove.
Oh my God, I know.
What do you remember?
Ethan's like, yes!
That's so rude.
It's so
rude.
true.
That's so true.
How do you know my name?
I'm sorry.
How do you know me?
I'm sorry.
a DVR at home full of unwatched TV waiting to remind me how ridiculously single I really am. Rose, call a code 137.
Okay. Extra.
So,
How are you walking under the front door? Didn't you escape?
hang out again soon?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But I have to admit something. I'm not big on group dates. So next time.
Because they have to introduce Jill, right?
Totally handle more of that.
Oh, that's why.
Does that happen this episode? I can't remember.
No, because I don't think she's wearing the hat. But maybe.
And then I don't know why they
I
have
think
her
the
go.
door opens.
I mean, they could have had her at the driveway.
Hey, Scott, I'm gonna go to sleep.
He didn't try to make it look like he wasn't.
Right. Yay!
Stiles, what the hell are you doing here?
What am I doing? God, do either of you even play baseball?
Can you please tell your friend to use the front door?
We locked the front door. He wouldn't be able to get in.
Yeah, exactly. And, by the way, do either of you care that there's a police-enforced curfew?
No?
No. All right, then. Well, you know what? It's about enough parenting for me for one night. Good night.
What? My dad left for the hospital 15 minutes ago. It's the bus driver. He said he succumbed to his wounds. Succumbed? Scott,
Oh,
he's dead.
Dylan bottom lashes O'Brien. And we're definitely made to think.
I know you're here. I know what you did. You killed him. He died. Your sister died?
My sister was missing. I came here looking for her.
You found her.
I found her in pieces, being used as bait to catch me.
I think you killed them both.
What an
I'm
idiot.
gonna tell everyone. Starting with the sheriff.
That werewolf nose about to fall off. Yes, Dick!
Hi-ya! That's all I can think of.
That was cute.
This is the behind the screen transformation, yeah.
Oh, yeah! He said that was cute.
No eyebrows.
Is this the first fight that Derek has won? I'm guessing it's gonna win after the
I think so, yeah.
Why are
This is the
Scott's
first and
eyes?
only.
Why are Scott's eyes amber and Derek's are still black?
Oh, they didn't.
Because he isn't
flash.
using his werewolf power. Yeah.
Oh.
That's to show you how, like, cool Derek is.
Right. He said, I don't need to flash. These stunts.
All of them Hecklin did himself, which is really cool.
Yeah. I remember thinking Derek was so mean. And I'm just like, get him.
Dang.
Yeah, he is tearing him up.
And you know what the stands would call this? A hate crime.
You know?
I didn't kill him. Neither of us did. It's not your fault, and it's not mine. This is all your fault. You ruined my life. No, I didn't. You're the one who bit me. No, I'm not. What? I'm not the one that bit you.
It just like never occurred to him. How did that couch survive the fire? I need to know these things.
It's called an alpha. It's the most dangerous of our kind. You and I, we're betas. This thing is more powerful, more animal than either of us. My sister came here looking for him. Now I'm trying to find him. But I don't think I can do it without you. Why me? Because he's the one that bit you. You're part of his pack. It's you, Scott. You're the one he wants.
Ooh, 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 honey. Okay, Russell McKay.
Next on Teen Wolf.
Oh, we can look at the next one. I remember that.
Or Magic Bullet, right?
Yeah.
Poor Scott McCall. You know, how about I help you find it if you tell me what you're selling? Don't.
That is the tallest Colton Haynes ever been.
That's what the Alpha calls you out against your will. He's gonna do it again. Next time, you either kill with him or you get killed. So if you want to stay alive, then you need me.
So if you want to stay alive, then you need
Poor
me.
Derek having to beg for his life.
Oh, Lord.
I don't even know. So we each of these episodes we have had a buy Stiles thing, and the next episode is going to be just
Yeah.
It's going to be rife. It's going to be rife.
Call it Magic Bullet.
Magic Bullet. Yep.
Oh, man. Well, that was cute. We got the transformation.
To quote Derek Hale.
We got the transformation of Derek Hale behind the glass, which was a good look. I thought that was a very nice effect. We also got, what else? This episode actually was sectioned out pretty well in terms of having the kind of high school bowling night thing, and then also having the serious kind of initial fight with Derek. The bus driver was super extra, and he was doing the most. And I do remember thinking that at at that time where I'm like, I don't care about this bus driver at all. It was like, and then when he kept saying, I'm sorry, and I'm like, what are you sorry for? Make it plain. I don't understand. And then we get a glimpse of the alpha who was outside, and ooh, that's what I'm really not looking forward to, especially once, because I know so much of that was left on the cutting room floor when they start to explain Peter being the alpha and this coma and all that nonsense. So we'll see what happens.
So, like, going back, Peter is at Melissa's hospital because, remember, later we find out whose logins were used for whatever. Melissa going back to bed after seeing her son is not in his bedroom is the funniest thing ever. Well, what parent does that? Like, my kid's not. Oh, well.
It was like, all right, I'm done. That's enough.
She knew. I was about to say this. She knew her son was not going to be in any real trouble, at least, from her point of view. And so she's just like, bad butt kid, what are you going to do? But wait, no, I don't remember the thing about the logins. What was going on with that?
Remember that the text messages are being sent from a computer at the hospital or something like that?
I thought that was,
Yeah, I do.
We'll see. I don't quite remember, unless it was like Jennifer, maybe. The other Jennifer.
And then no, and then there's the Scott not knowing the word succumbed. I'm just like, really?
He's like, succumbed?
And I mean, you want us to believe that he's the smartest wolf ever and the genius later on. Well, but season 1, he didn't know the word succumbed.
At the very least, context clues will tell you where that conversation was headed. And I do remember thinking that at the time, too.
He straight assumes that Derek kills this man, even though nothing happened to point that it was Derek. Like, they were like, oh, Derek Hale was just here. And then he runs off and thinks like, oh, Derek did it. He just assumes Derek killed him. And so he goes to his house to tell him, I'm going to tell on you. Like, really?
That was funny. Because it was all just like a bluff of him wanting to show how bad he was. But it was like, you can't back this up, Scott. You have no idea what you're doing.
It's not like he even has the recorder on, being like, oh, I'm going to catch him on tape admitting to the death or something like that. Like, nothing. There's just, I'm going to go tell you I know.
Well, again, it's one of those things where they're kind of counting on the audience to be the fourth member of the cast. So it's like, we saw Derek at the hospital, and it was set up to make us think that Derek killed the man. So then, of course, Scott thinks that Derek killed the man. But really, there's no link to that. There's no reason to make that assumption in any way, shape, or form. And so when they just leap to that conclusion, when you're watching the show, you're like, oh, of course, we just saw Derek at the hospital. But you don't put together, oh, wait, Scott never saw Derek at the hospital. And Scott just got done talking to his mom, but learned from Stiles that the man died. So it's just like the avenues of communication don't match up. But that gets worse and worse as the seasons progress. I feel like season 1 was their training ground, but it was for how lazy they could be in the upcoming seasons. Ethan, thoughts?
That's a word. And that about sums it up. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's not really anything.
There were some good parts. There wasn't a lot to kind of move the plot. It just kind of added more plot, which is another typical Teen Wolf thing. They will give you the first 3-4 episodes of the season and fill you with questions. But the plot doesn't move until about episodes 4 through 6. And then they try to start wrapping stuff up, and then they forget half the questions that they asked.
But at the very least, like, it used to be enjoyable. Like, you used to be like, damn, like, even though I have all of these questions, like, I still am enjoying this.
Right. I think that there are those character tics. I think right now we're just plagued by hindsight is 2020. But I think when you're watching it, there's enough of those enjoyable little moments where you're like, I see this 1 hour a week for, so many weeks, and I can deal with the kind of looseness of the whole thing. Whereas now doing this rewatch, I mean, it is pretty much the 1 hour a week, but it's like, it's not a show that holds up, except for very specific parts.
I just think it was a fun show that you didn't have to think very hard on. And then they decided to tell us that we needed to think.
Right.
But we're not at that part yet. So, like, it's just like, it's fun if you're not thinking about it. And you're not trying to, like, make a big deal out of any of it. Mm-hmm. Then you actually look at it and it's like, this is just not working.
Basically. Good times. All right. So, that was episode 3 of Teen Wolf. What was the name of this episode again?
Pack Mentality.
Pack Mentality. I did like Derek being like, you and me are betas, and he's the alpha, and you're a part of his pack. What I'm wondering, well, do we think Derek knows about Peter, but maybe we'll find this out coming up, but do we know if Derek knew about Peter being alive? Not necessarily the alpha, but even just alive. Or was
he knew that he was alive because he...
Because what I'm interested in is, so you know that you're a werewolf, you're in New York, your sister says, I've heard that there is an alpha in, I hear that, he said that Laura was here looking for the alpha, but that's impossible. You know what I mean? So what was Laura's excuse for going back? Because she wasn't looking for the alpha. She was the alpha. Unless maybe it was just a werewolf.
It was just a werewolf putting the spiral on the deer.
What?
Remember, there's a deer.
Yeah.
That
But
has a
how would she
spiral,
know that?
and somehow it got faxed from the hospital to Laura or something like that.
I forgot
Are you
about
for real?
that.
Yeah.
That's really the reason?
I don't know if it was just a report or what. Somehow she saw that in New York, and so she came to investigate because she knew the spiral meant
revenge.
Revenge.
Oh, and so maybe she thought it was revenge on... But, so, again, at this point... that's another thing we'll have to pay attention to. Because at this point, you know your uncle is in Beacon Hills. And I know we're dealing with uncharted territory. But your first stop should be to him. And then you realize... he's not in the hospital at night. I don't know.
They never went there with it, so you can assume that he either wasn't there and then Laura's just dumb, or he was there faking it, Laura couldn't tell, and then when she goes out at night, because visiting hours are over, he attacks and kills her by the Hale house or whatever.
Which, of course, jacks up his whole thing of like, oh, this wasn't premeditated at all. Oh, man, this show. Good times. We'll see what happens. All right, I think we are a good... Oh, jeez. We will reconvene at some point, hopefully later on this week, to do episode 4. Get ready.
Sounds good.
Yay.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I gotta go to bed, so...
Yep, say goodnight, Ethan.
Good night, everybody.
Yay, say goodnight, Phillip.
Good night, everybody.
Yay, thanks for coming on. Have a good day at work tomorrow, Ethan.
I will. Thanks.
Bye.